I think I'm going to call this one After the Storm, because I want it to have that wonderful sense of after there's been a huge thunderstorm and then the lights, the clouds move away and the light starts to glimmer through, and just, especially if it's tropical, you get this sort of steaming and just wonderful sense of, it's really beautiful, everything's glimmering after a downpour. So that's the sort of feeling of this, and it's also, to me, it's all about redemption, and it's about hope, and that there are new, it doesn't matter how dark things get, there's always after the storm, there's always that point when the clouds will lift, and you have to remember that, and I feel that really strongly. That's a really firmly held belief. So this painting is really, really precious to me, and I think it's nearly there. It's got a lot of, obviously it's taken a couple of years to make, it's got a lot of oil layering, which has allowed me to rub through and get some really precise detailing, and exactly the sort of thing that I love when you're seeing the different colours just glimmering through. It's got this sort of amazing, the way the paint's sort of wrinkled and pulled together, and then the overpainting's gone into it. You've got all these sort of almost bark-like or strange organic texture that I really enjoy. I've always found texture absolutely fascinating. Yeah, just very close to my heart, this one. This painting is probably the most dramatically different from when we saw it earlier, where I'd been working for probably a couple of years on getting that layering in the sky and all of that detail. And then I became, and have been for ages, completely fascinated by deep water and reflections within them. And I'd gone fishing, carp fishing. So we spent sort of 3 or 4 days just gazing into the surface of the lake, and came back and just decided, just was compelled to transpose those feelings and emotions onto this particular canvas, and it's now, I'm going to call it Gone Fishing. You can see the sky and land and all of those other things, but you get this extraordinary reflection of the weeping willows and the reeds and so on in those deep edges around the edge of the lake, where the carp are sort of meandering in their rather wonderful manner. This lake is, I just think it's completely beautiful. It's one of the most lovely, peaceful places I know, and I come here often. And this is the lake that Gone Fishing, the painting I went a bit crazy with, was inspired by. It's such a magical place, because whatever the weather, if it's grey, it's completely beautiful, and the surface of the water, you see all the reflections in. If it's still, if it's raining, you get these amazing circles all over, and there's all these beautiful creatures here, and it's just a magical, secluded nature place. It's just fantastic. With a painting like Gone Fishing, the change, in order to work, it has to be brave. You have to be prepared to perhaps lose everything that you have created up until that point so carefully. It's like extreme sport. It's like, that's why I love to ski down mountains on black runs only, and that's why I like to gallop on racehorses. Certainly have to be prepared that you'll lose and you'll ruin that amount of work, and it is months and months and months of work. Of course you get attached, and of course if I do destroy something, I cry. I do. And the process is incredibly, incredibly exciting. I mean, I hardly breathe. The hours whiz past me, and I just completely, absolutely absorbed and fascinated and obsessed with what is happening, and scraping things away, and it's all liquid, and you can see things running over areas that you want to try and protect, and you're sort of just it's a sort of mania. It's wonderful. I mean, days like that, you come away and just, that was what all of that work was for, that one moment, that really exhilarating final moment when it comes together as a painting. I'd love it if these paintings, just even as you glimpse as you're walking past, it gives you that sense of tranquility, and that there is another world and there is a quieter time, and it's important to have a balance. They're very thoughtful and there are many stories within them, but I think if people feel that sense of peacefulness throughout, that would be lovely.